churches, yeah. Only OG would I be burning, yeah. Haters hella mad when you be working, yeah. Had to get a little dirty, but I earned it, yeah.
What's poppin', you guys? It's been a long time, no video. I know I have some videos coming, but I know this is gonna be the first one I've uploaded in probably like a year. I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time I uploaded a video, honestly, which is so fucking crazy. But what's up, guys? It's your girl P, reporting to you live from Los Angeles, California. I want to do a whole video on my move and why I moved and my experience in LA. I have like so many video ideas and it's just about time I start executing them. But this video has been on my list of ideas since 2021, like honestly since 2020, since I graduated school. I have been trying to film this video and I either like film it and don't edit it, or it doesn't come out good, or whatever the case is. But I need to stop with that bullshit. So I'm about to just get into this video and I'm about to make it fucking happen. So get your bongs ready, get your blunts ready, get your joints, get your vapes, because we about to talk about how to get through college as a stoner, my college experience as a stoner, and my tips and advice I have for you guys. Because if I could go back and do my college experience again, I most certainly would. So listen up, but let's get high while we listen. Alright guys, I have a bong packed of some Blue Bandit from Marathon. Let's motherfucking smoke and talk about getting through college as a stoner. Cheers, y'all. Okay, so I'm basically going to talk about my college experience and then kind of throw in my tips and advice while I'm speaking about my college experience. So let's just get right into it. I really wanted to post this video because I know it is back to school season and a lot of people are going back to school, and weed is more legal than it's ever been. So I know there's definitely going to be people who are partaking and consuming throughout their college experience. So this is for you guys. This is for my stoners. And if you feel like college is really hard, it's okay. You can do it. Okay, so I graduated high school in 2014. I was not a good student at all. I was very much a C's, get degrees type of girl. It's genuinely not because I didn't understand the curriculum. It was genuinely because I didn't apply myself. I cared more about getting into stuff I shouldn't have been getting into over school. It's been a problem since high school, and it kind of like went to college. But basically, when I was in high school, I got into drinking and smoking, and then I had a really, really bad experience, which actually made me stop everything. And I was sober for like sophomore year till senior year. And I was a good girl. Honestly, I was a good girl. I wasn't even a stoner yet. So then, boom, I went to college straight out of high school. I went to San Francisco State, and I lived in the dorms because that's what you do as a freshman. I did the whole 9 yards. I decided I did not like San Francisco. I wanted to move back to San Diego, and my biggest reasoning was the weather and the college experience. I saw my friends at like SDSU, and they were like living their best lives and partying. And I wanted to be like that. And this is my number one tip or advice. Stop treating college like it's a big fat party. College is to help you get your degree, to help you move forward in the future. And it can be a big fat party, but it really shouldn't be, because there's those type of people who can party and still get their work done, and there's those who can't. And if you're one of those who can't and know you can't, you just need to call it quits with the partying while you're trying to get through school. So I left San Francisco State, went back to San Diego, tried to go to SDSU, but you need a certain amount of credits to transfer. So I couldn't do that. I had to go to Mesa, which is like the community college, which if you're in community college, that's totally fine too. All of these tips and advice also apply to you. But being in community college meant I was just back in San Diego with a lot of bad habits. So I was over here again partying and not focusing on school. So we decided Okay, so when I moved back to San Diego and was in community college, that was when I started my like true stoner phase. I had this friend that I would hang out with all the time. We started smoking, and I got the hang of it, and I enjoyed it, yada yada. Then I met some other friends. One of my friends, she worked at a dispensary. We would smoke all the time together. Basically, it was a big social thing. We'd always meet, and a bunch of people would always smoke together. That's when it was still a trap days, so I got my medical card, so I was able to pick up. Basically, was loving my stoner life in San Diego, but I was really like kind of growing up in a sense where I was thinking about like my future, and I was like, dude, if I don't get the fuck out of San Diego with all my bad habits, I'm just gonna keep doing the same bullshit. I'm never gonna get my degree, and I'm gonna keep failing classes. And I'm not failing classes because I'm like literally getting F's on my papers. I'm failing classes because I'm not turning in my papers because I'm fucking partying. So, or smoking. So that was when like my true stoner phase started, and I was like, you know what? I need to get my shit together. So I talked to a counselor at Mesa. I had enough credits to transfer to San Francisco State as a junior, which I had already been in college, I think for 3 years at that point, so I should have already been a junior. I basically just took forever in college. Like, my whole college experience took 6 years. So, like I said, I went my first year, freshman year, came back to San Diego, fucked off for 2 years, and then in 2017, I went back. Right before I went back, I had got a job at the Trap Shop working as a bud tender at a dispensary. It was my first weed job ever. I literally was on cloud 9. I was like, I get to be around weed all day. I get to get paid in cash every day. I get to pick up my weed. Like, I literally loved it so much. So I was like, this is the life for me. This is what I want to do while I'm in college. So when I went back to San Francisco, I applied at all the dispensaries, got hired at a dispensary, and now I'm back in San Francisco State going for my bachelor's degree in sociology. And this is so fucked up, but the main reason for me picking sociology as a degree is, one, because I took a sociology class at community college and literally fell in love with the whole topic. I was like, wow, this is like literally everything I care about in the world. So I really do love the topic, but on top of that, it had like the least difficult credits to obtain. Like, I had enough credits to make it like, some of my credits worked towards my sociology degree, so like it would have been the easiest to obtain. Still took me 6 fucking years, but that's besides the point. But I'm really glad I ended up choosing that, because all the things I learned, I literally like cherished to my heart. Yeah, basically I loved everything I studied, but I did originally want to do something a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, a little bit more difficult, I guess you would say. Like, I was thinking about doing poli-sci, I was thinking about doing criminal psych, I was thinking about doing international relations, I was thinking about doing business, and like, if I could go back in time and force myself to not be a dumb bitch and take these difficult classes and get a different degree, I probably would have. Because as grateful as I am for everything I learned in sociology, my degree does not make that much of a difference at this moment for a bunch of different jobs. There's like a select few jobs that my degree would make a difference for, and I'm having like a really hard time getting into the sociology field because of my history in cannabis. I'm just getting ahead of myself. I'm going to touch on that at the end of the video, or like towards the end of the video. But when I was picking my major, I did it based on what was the smartest decision based off the classes I've already had, because originally I was going to do a child development major and a teaching program. That was like the original goal, and honestly, like, if I could go back and do it again, I would. I really, really do love working with kids. I really miss working with kids, and I would really like to go back to doing it. But yeah, I'm at San Francisco junior year, and my major is sociology, and I just got hired at the Cookies original dispensary in San Francisco. So to me, this is like my college experience, because this is like where I was actually in college and like actually was like working towards my degree. I was really just fucking off the first 3 years, which again, don't do, especially if you're not paying for it. So I was in San Francisco working at the dispensary, and I was living my best life. Like that was my first like cannabis jobs. So like I really like was so elated to be working in the cannabis industry. Like I felt knowledgeable, because at the time I was way more knowledgeable than anyone else who was consuming, because they weren't around this and they weren't around people teaching them about this. So I really enjoyed it. But if I could go back, I probably wouldn't work a cannabis job while I was getting through college, or a bartending job, things like that. I mean, honestly, bartending, serving, it's good money, so I'm not even going to shade that. But this is like a really big piece of advice I want to stick with you guys. I would really recommend working in a field that is going towards your degree. So like, I should have been like doing internships or doing different type of entry level social work careers, and instead I was working at the dispo. And I feel like I just wish I was getting more. I wish I had more experience in my field, and I feel like that's really what people need to do. Like if you're going into law, work at a law firm as an administrative assistant. Like I've literally seen postings for that type of job. Like there's a lot of entry level jobs for the type of field that you're going for. Like literally there's so many. And I'm not saying like it's easy to get a job, because the job market is fucking trash right now. But it is really smart if you are in school looking for something. If you are in school looking for a job, and I know it's not the most ideal thing and it's not the easiest thing to obtain, but I highly recommend searching for a job in your field. It's just going to benefit you so much more in the future. So yeah, I was working at the weed shop, and I literally did not have pretty much any friends. I didn't know too many people when I had first moved out there. And then I think shortly after I moved out there, there was somebody I knew who lived out there, so I linked up with them. But when I first moved out there, I really didn't know too many people at all. How did I even meet Kelsey and Danny? That's so crazy. I'm trying to think. But I do remember when I was looking for my housing situation, the housing ad that I had found was a 420 friendly household. So you definitely want to make sure, especially if you're someone like, if you're actually like a stoner, you know, you smoke bowls day and night, you want to make sure that like your household is 420 friendly, because it's honestly rude to go live with non-smokers and just think you can hotbox the place, because a lot of people are not cool with that, and you need to respect that. So I definitely recommend, like, first of all, not living on campus, because that could get you in trouble, and second of all, making sure that you're living with people who are okay with weed. So that's what I did, and that's honestly where Cloudy Bay was born. It was born in my first house that I lived in SF. I remember it was in 2018. Anyways, that's where Cloudy Bay was born. That's when I started making smoking videos, and I feel like a lot of you guys remember, like, I would post videos in between class. I would be like, just got off work, going to class, smoking a bowl, yada yada. I went to all my classes, not all my classes, but I did go to a lot of my classes high. But I do genuinely feel like for me, weed really does make me think about things more deeply than normally. With my like ADHD, I feel like I lose attention really quickly. Like my attention span, it's very difficult for me to pay attention, especially in like a 3-hour lecture, because like, you know, sometimes with school scheduling you have to do those like 3-hour classes, which are super rough. But yeah, basically I what was I saying? I would go to a lot of my classes high, but I don't think that didn't help me retain information. I definitely took notes, and I just feel like I paid attention more. I did not want to participate, though. I will say that. I do not like participating when I'm high. I guess I'm just like paranoid and I feel like everybody's looking at me. But I was pretty open with my cannabis usage with my classmates. So like if they asked me like what I did for work, I would tell them. That wasn't something that I would like hide very much, because honestly I was trying to meet other people who were like cool with it. Again, I really did not have any friends at this time, which made it hard for me to want to be on campus. I feel like if you have friends, you can be like, oh, like, let's go to the library, let's study, let's grab coffee, whatever. It's a really nice campus and it's a fun place to chill at. But because I didn't have friends there, I would literally pull up, go to class, and then dip. And I feel like that kind of fucked me over, and like not being as active of a participant at my school. Like, I was never one in high school to be into sports and clubs and anything like that. I'm not like a group setting kind of gal. But I really wish I did actively participate more as a student and join more like clubs and things like that. So that is one of my tips to you guys, is even if you're shy and you're pretty antisocial, I do recommend just trying to put yourself out there. You never know what could happen. You never know who you could meet. And it really does help having people around you who are academically focused. I will say my roommates in my first house, they were all very on top of their studies, very hard workers. So it did really kind of motivate me to be a better student. So yeah, you just want to make sure you're making friends who are also, you know, studious and have the same goals as you, because if you do have people around you who don't really care about college, it definitely will kind of make you fall back a little bit. You are who you surround yourself with, and the more I get older, the more I realize that. And like, anyways, long story short, I was a stoner going to class high, and I still got my degree because I feel like I was mature enough and disciplined enough to do what I had to do to get the grades I needed to get by. And by all means, I was not a 4.0 student. I was not the best student, not in high school, not in college. Again, I'm just really bad at applying myself. So there were times I would miss deadlines, I'm not gonna lie. And those are times where I would really like be mad at myself, because I'm like, dude, you don't really have an excuse to be missing these deadlines. Like, you need to chill. So at some point in my college career, I do remember kind of taking a step back from smoking before doing assignments. So I would always make sure that if I'm getting high, I don't have an assignment due. And like, I remember sometimes it would be like 11:57, I'm typing the last paragraph and it's due at midnight. So you definitely want to use weed as a reward if you are like a daily consumer. I would just recommend using it as a reward for completing assignments, turning in essays, doing good on quizzes. There are also ways to incorporate smoking into like a studying routine. Like for me, sometimes it was relaxing to smoke, relax my mind, and then open up a textbook and start taking notes and studying for whatever midterm I had. I do recommend going over these notes sober too, just to make sure you have that full retention. Yeah, but using it as a reward just makes it so much better, and like you feel like you earned your high. Same thing with like if you're like going to school and work that day, like maybe be like, okay, I'm not gonna smoke till I get off work, and it really does like help give you that like good job feeling, like I did good and now I can relax. Because you know, sometimes you get high when you have hella shit to do, and then you're like, fuck, I'm high and now I have to do all this shit. So yeah. And then I know probably if you're a stoner, you might indulge in alcohol if you're over 21. Most people do indulge in alcohol. I definitely did indulge a lot when I was in college. There were times where I was partying like every week, and I really do regret doing all that, because then you're hungover the next day, you either miss class or you miss an assignment because you're hungover, and it's just not good. It's really bad for your liver, it's bad for your brain. Try not to drink as much. I'm going on 1 year sober, and the clarity I have, and like the least amount of shitty days I have, like I don't feel like shit the next day anymore. So if you are a partier, I would say try to lay off on drinking and stick to the weed as like a reward after a long week. invite some friends over, pass around a J, watch a good movie. It's really, really, really important to find people like that in college that you can just like have wholesome, chill nights inside the house where you're not, getting blacked out and breaking your phone and throwing up and all that. I'm not judging anybody who drinks. I know it's such a normal part of our culture, but if you can stay away from it in college, I really recommend it. I feel like I know so many people who drop out because of drinking and partying, and it's not good. It's so not good. And if I could go back and stop drinking back then, I would have. I feel like I might have gone to more of my classes and turned in more of my assignments. Yeah, so that's one thing. Another thing is I feel like I went to college pretty blindly. Like, my parents are smart and like they set me up for success in a lot of ways, and so did my high school. But at the same time, I feel like there was a lot of ways where like I just didn't know about so many things. Like, I did not understand how like finances of college worked and like the loans and all that shit, and so now I'm still dealing with like student loans, and I didn't really understand like anything about doing research like on your major. I know obviously like to do research on it, but like there's a lot of things that have like different programs after. Like, if you want to be a teacher, there's like a teaching program that you do after college, and like there's a lot of different things with different programs. Like, you need to get accepted into a master's program, and you can't get accepted to a master's program with a certain GPA and things like that. There are certain like circumstances. So I highly recommend going into your junior year, you really need to figure it out and like figure out what your plan is and what you want to do, because it's gonna screw you over in the end if you just go into it blindly. A lot of people like obviously have college counselors, and I didn't get my like college counselor. Not that they didn't give me one, like I had been assigned one, but I didn't actually go to them until like the last minute to just like get my requirements to graduate. It was really bad. So you really need to be on top of that, because when you're in college, you're considered an adult. Like, there's nobody who's gonna hold your hand and be like, did you do it? Did you turn in this? Did you make sure you did this? Like, there's nobody there who's gonna like baby you through it. And I'm used to like in high school them just kind of like, reminding you to do things and things like that. So that was definitely like something that I was not prepared for, and I really wish that I was more prepared going into college, knowing a plan, knowing my plan of action to get to my goals. Having goals. I feel like I just didn't really understand the point of college. For me, the point of college was socializing and networking and learning. And I really do love to learn, but like I didn't really think of college as like a stepping stone to get me to my next goal. I thought of college as my goal. But it's like, what are you doing with your college degree? Like, what's the point of going to college if you're not going to do anything with your degree? And that's how I feel. And I know everyone's going to say, like, there's like a million people who feel that way. There's so many people who got degrees and like didn't even end up using them and end up getting better jobs and this and that. But I really do wish I could use my degree, to be honest, in the way that I'd like it to. And I do feel like being in the cannabis industry might hold me back from that just because of how my resume looks. It's just been what I've been doing forever. I think maybe if I had stayed on the route of working with kids, it would look a little bit better for future job employers. But it is what it is. Like I said, I do have a lot of regrets, and I wish I could redo. I don't have regrets, but if I could redo college, I would. It was all a learning experience. And I feel like, what am I doing if I'm not sharing this learning experience with you guys and just giving you my best tips to help you guys succeed? Yeah. Basically, my biggest tips are have a plan, don't overconsume, use weed as a reward, surround yourself with people who have like-minded goals and like-minded intentions, lay off the alcohol, and be yourself. Be yourself. Because that is the number one thing that college brought me. Is when I was in high school, we all felt the peer pressure to be a certain way, and I just wanted to be a certain way that I thought I was supposed to be. And I went to college, and that's when I came out, and I just felt a lot more comfortable being myself. And I just really felt like I could explore like my fashion and my makeup and my hair and do all these different things and kind of like find myself. And I feel like that is the true beauty of college, is finding yourself. If there's one thing college does for everybody, I want to say it's help people find themselves, because you really don't know who you are until you're out in this world and you're just being yourself, and there's no one else you can be. You don't have people next to you that you're necessarily comparing yourself to. Like, I feel like in college you just are in so many different classes with so many different people. You're not like comparing yourself to the person next to you. You're just being yourself and putting your best foot forward. And I do really, really appreciate that about college. I feel like I really did find myself and really get to open up to who I truly am and be proud of that. So yeah, I'm really grateful for my college experience. I graduated in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. I graduated when COVID hit, so my last semester was online, and then my graduation ceremony was online, and then there was one in person 2 years later. So it was pretty crazy, but I got my degree up there. And this was basically my college experience as a stoner, and just kind of some tips and advice I have to you guys. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. I'd love to answer some. I'd love to kind of just make a whole series where I'm telling you guys about my different experiences, like my experience in the cannabis industry, my experience moving to LA. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Give me a follow on Instagram at The Cloudy Bay. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be posted very, 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 very soon. Comment down below what you guys want to see first. A couple of videos I have planned are just talking about my 1 year of sobriety from alcohol, and then talking about my move to LA, and talking about my experience in the cannabis industry. Just a bunch of different ideas. If you guys have any new ones, let me know. Thank you guys for listening to me blabber about school. Go get your degrees and go smoke a bowl. And I love you guys. Thanks for watching.